Well, hello, 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 fellow addicts. Welcome back to Addicts Live, albeit a few minutes late. I apologize. We had a little bit of technical difficulty. I am Melissa, your resident head addict, and my co host this week, broadcasting from where he can see Russia from his hotel room, Patrick.
Hey, how you doing? Up here in Anchorage, Alaska for a wedding. Great fun.
And Wookie and Safi were supposed to join us. Honestly, I have no idea where they are. I tried getting in touch with them. Neither one of them responded, so I don't know what's going on. So thank God we have Patrick.
It's probably the mention of the Russians. Maybe the Russians got them.
Maybe. Scientologists probably finally got Wookie and Safi. I don't know. So now it's time for your regular reminder. For those watching us live right now, the show is meant to be interactive. So share your thoughts and ask your questions in the comments below us and join in the conversation. So let's jump into Mo's arc. Before we get into the good, the bad, and the ugly of the newest event in Springfield, let's take a minute to discuss the poll question. The poll question this week is, after almost one act, how would you rate the Springfield Zoo event? Awesome, love it. Wasn't a fan of it at first, but it's growing on me. Like every other event, I'm indifferent, nothing amazing, nothing awful. Meh, not impressed so far, and hate it. Pat, based on those reactions, or based on those responses, what's your initial reaction?
I don't know. I vacillate, to be honest with you. I mean, I think it's my problem is that it's real repetitive again. It looks like they're going to cram a lot of stuff into a small amount of land. And again, the land thing is interesting. They gave us a big chunk of land, but now we can't buy extra land around it, which is kind of weird. Maybe that'll happen in Act 2. I can't remember. But, I don't know. There's people that love it, and I'm happy people love it. Let's leave it at that. It's kind of like, okay, I'm banging it together. They bumped the item limit by 200, which allows you just enough to put in 100 fences and a couple of cats. So, yay! But, it's interesting. I mean, it's I'm doing it only mostly out of habit, to be honest with you. I truly am realizing how addicted I am. It's like, okay, 4 hours, click, 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 get out, and that's kind of it. I'm not really getting jollies out of it at this point.
So you're kind of in the indifferent category.
Yeah, I am. I wouldn't say meh. There's some kind of cute animations. There's some stuff going on that's okay, but it's so, again, grindtastic. There's nothing really new. There's not a lot of dialogue. As I wrote about in the Friday filler yesterday, I'm really astounded that they've pulled so many disparate characters that have nothing to do with anything into this episode. But it's all right, and it's fine. And it gets worse. That's the thing. It's hilarious because we can look forward. It just does get worse. I just don't get it. But anyway, it's okay. It's fine.
It seems to be par for the course with this game that it goes off the rails a little bit.
I wouldn't call it a major event. That's kind of my thing. It feels like an exploded, elongated mini update is what it feels like to me. It just doesn't feel like a major event. But there we go. It's long.
I'd probably say I'm somewhere between I wasn't a fan at first, but it's growing on me, and like every other event, I'm indifferent. I'm not a big fan of the animals. Most of that stuff my entire zoo will likely end up in inventory. But I like some of the changes they made, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. But, so I'd say I'm somewhere between those two. So, all right, well, let's dig a little deeper now and then get into the kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the thoughts on the theme. I know when we originally saw this, because we got a little preview of this from EA, 3 days before it hit, 4 days before, the weekend before it hit. Both of us had the same initial reaction, like, oh boy, this is not going to be exciting. So, based off of that initial reaction, and now, what are your thoughts as far as how it's actually playing out?
Yeah, I think the execution's okay. I mean, again, the weird. I mean, mostly, I guess I'm annoyed by the name. It's like, if it's Mo's arc, where's Mo? Where's the arc? I mean, I've looked ahead. He has very little to do with this thing. and again, it's kind of like, I don't know. It feels like on the heels of this giant itchy scratchy land thing, they're really truly jumping the shark. It's like, well, we can't think of anything else. Let's figure out some other way to throw all this stuff into the same zone. I mean, right now, I was measuring it out in the forest area that they've given us to work with. It's now almost twice the size of what I call Springfield proper. And Springfield proper is like the original buildings that you see, Cannon buildings, the town hall, all that stuff. If you put all that in the town square all together, you could put like 4 of those inside crusty, jumpy land with the zoo now. It's like, okay, enough. So anyway, I don't know. And they're all out of scale and they're weird and whatever, but
that tends to be the norm. I mean, as I've said in a few posts, and I've just said 2 minutes ago, I'm not a fan of animals. So this theme itself really was like, like I could take it, I could leave it. I was kind of like, this is the perfect event for me to be this pregnant.
Yeah.
I don't care.
You just want to see a big giant barbecue.
Yeah. It's like, I don't care enough that, if I don't get something, okay. I'm not going to be devastated by it. But I do like a lot of the, the way that they've done things. So Big Cat Country's actually done really well. And as somebody who's gone to, I don't really go to zoos, but I've gone to Animal Kingdom, and I'm not a fan of Animal Kingdom either in Disney World. But, they did try to make a lot of it similar to your experience at parks like that. And I think that it is a good continuation off of Itchy and Scratchy Land because it continues the amusement aspect. It's still summer. Well, at least if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. So, it kind of fits in. It's like, okay, here's another thing you do in the summer. So it kind of works that way. I kind of get what they're doing. It's like that the first summer of TSTO where they did Squidport and then they did Krusty Land. Those kind of work together. I'd rather see it like this than
different locations, though.
Well, yeah,
that was
that's true.
I mean, it's like they weren't cramming us into now what I'm calling the upper 40, 48 or whatever. The Canada and the whole thing. I mean, okay, look, I'm going with it. I'm trying to be cool, but so you've got what it essentially is a whole bunch of NPC animals that are going to sit there forever and ever in their confines. They don't get fed. They don't talk. They don't eat anything. You can't cook them in a giant barbecue, and then, to make it weirder, they've got Aslan who's going to walk around, and I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to, preach about animals, and they're all NPCs. It's like, no, those are robots. Those are not real animals.
He's spreading the good news.
It's just a weird. Like I said in the post, it's kind of like, oh, there's an animal. Pass the fireball. It's like, woohoo, we got another one.
I mean, I'd rather see the animals in clothes like they are than roaming around Springfield, because at least it makes sense in a sense more as far as a zoo is concerned.
You haven't been to Alaska, sadly. So we've seen moose on the highway. We saw a bear yesterday on a driving range. I mean, it's like very clear. Do not go into the woods, and the woods are everywhere out here. So it's like, okay, all right.
But I mean, they're enclosed in a zoo, which is nice. So it keeps that theme. So you don't have to worry about like your zoo will look like a zoo, whereas Itchy and Scratchy Land, you got those NPCs, the little mascots to walk around, and they walk around all of Springfield. They don't stay in Itchy and Scratchy Land. So
yeah, and you have 2 of everything, and you don't know which one you're tapping. Yeah, okay.
So I like that aspect as opposed to, them just roaming around Springfield. I know there was a lot of confusion with that, the upgrading the habitats. People got really confused by it, and I get it. But the other thing I like too is I like that they basically eliminated crafting as we know it. And they brought a ton of items to the store to pay for cash, which is nice because essentially Game Cash has been utterly useless the last 2 years. So it's nice that they
we just have more items. They kill the item limits. We're safe because I can buy all the things I want. I can't place them, but it's all right. I'm not going to keep them playing.
But it's a nice change though, because you can upgrade and you should upgrade at least once to get everything for that one particular habitat, but you're not stuck with a ton of crap you don't want. You know, you can go into the store, and this is something I've been advocating for a while now. Just be able to go into the store and just buy what you want, you know, decorate the way that you want to decorate versus, you know, oh, I need to get 16 of these stupid, you know, lights because if I don't, I can't upgrade.
Right.
You know, I like that. That's a nice change.
I'm not
and
trying
then,
to make you sick. It's starting to rain out here. I'm sorry. my great setup being at work here. We'll see.
Further proof that Patrick's in Alaska and not, you know, Hawaii.
Well, not even Eugene, where it's supposed to be 100 degrees again today. So we're getting baked. All right. Well, we'll try this.
You know, the other thing too that's not bad, the prizes, the prize tracks are not terrible because you've got, while you have 7 prizes, 3 of them, 2 of them are land tokens, which is fine. I have no problem with a land token being a prize. One of them is crafting or upgrade currency, which you need to, you know, upgrade anyway, which is nice. And then the other 3, they're not, you know, one of them tends to be a habitat for the animals, which is nice. And then the other one's a character. And then the other one is or the other 4, I should say. And the other 2 are just decorations. They're not huge. They're not, kind of mismatched. They still go okay. You know, you got that Animal Kingdom sign or the Lion Country sign, which actually goes well with the habitat. So they kind of work together in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, if your sole purpose in life is to build a zoo, this is your event. I mean, it's just, and then we have, you know, Sarah Wiggum, who's going to show up at some point, and we've got a couple of main characters that don't really have anything to do with anything. In fact, one of the things we win was never at any of the zoos. So there you go. Oh, there's
Staff is joining us now. Yeah, he just sent me a message.
Well, it's a time zone thing, right? It's different time zone in Canada, right?
Well, he's the same time zone as me, so.
I'm joking. I know I'm joking.
No, the Savvy, you can say hi to everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Fashionably late. We are talking about right now we're talking about the prize track for the event and how the items they work better than some of the previous prize tracks as far as the event itself. So you've got the sign for the zoo. You know, you're not stuck with, I'm just going back to the Springfield Jobs event where one of your prizes was Prince Albert in a can. Like, come on. Like that. It doesn't, I mean, I have no intention of building a zoo in my Springfield. Like I said, this stuff's all going to go in storage for me, except for maybe a couple of things. But I like that the items work better for a design aspect than Prince Albert in a can.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I think that by the 3rd act, though, we're going to get really tedious with the size of some of these enclosures, and even Cat Country is going to get so huge. Again, it's like, I mean, again, measure it out. Cat Country, when it's fully done with all of the additions, all the things you can win, is going to be roughly the size of 5 city blocks in Springfield. So it's cool. They have lots of room to run.
Those cats need places to go, you know?
They don't move, though. They just do this. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, there's 3 more habitats, too, we're going to get. You know, there's 2 more in Act 2 and 1 more in Act 3. So the fortunate thing is there's not 4 more. In Act 3, the prize track for Act 3 actually has 2, well, 1 character, 1 costume. So that's a little bit better.
You're kind of in Safi land today. You're defending EA nicely, and I'm just going to say,
trust me,
I'm down with everything you're saying, except that then you can do 2 of them. So I have, like, you know, you can craft 2 of the Cat Countries and 2 of
but I have no intention of doing that, so that's probably why. But
yeah.
Don't worry, I will not be defending EA in about 5 minutes because our next segment. Okay. Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't you worry.
I want to make sure I have a Yan with me here.
Staff, what are your thoughts as far as, I mean, because you missed the beginning, so we were talking about the event as a whole, you know, our initial reaction to it versus now, and then the prizes, the crafting change, and everything else.
Actually, for me, I wasn't as excited going into it. I was like, animals. But actually, I've really liked the event so far. been away for the past couple of days. I just unlocked the Big Cat Country like 5 minutes ago, so I'm a little bit behind there. But overall, I like that the price track is a little bit different. Sorry, what was that, Pat?
So I'll say you're behind. Whoa.
Yeah.
That calendar must be eating you up alive when you wake up in the morning.
Well, I was without Wi-Fi for the past couple of days, but yeah, hard to play without internet.
It's true.
But I figure like weekends I can probably just bang out, go Q4 hours the next today and tomorrow, and I'll be no issues. I should be finished in time. But yeah, I like that's a little bit different, the price track. You can craft as many of the big cat sanctuaries or the emu farms as you like. So you wanted to go for it. If you don't, then don't do it. So it's nice in that sense.
I mean, it's kind of how I feel. It's not, I had that same reaction about animals, but it's for the pace. First of all, I will say that I've noticed a lot of people are behind the price track, and on the price track versus the calendar, and I think that has to do with the fact that there's no automatic premiums that you've already had that award extra currency, and also leveling up or upgrading your amusement bonus area is not as easy this time around. Your max is 40% for the entire event, and it's a lot harder to upgrade than it was in past events. I don't mind it. I mean, I'm ahead of the calendar. I'm always ahead of the calendar, but I should have Brittany either today or tomorrow morning. So I'm not upset by it. But I did have noticed that a lot of people are behind in the comments talking about it. I want to
remind people on the calendar that it's a 24-hour clock. So when you see, for instance, whatever today's number is, that is supposed to be reached within 24 hours of tomorrow. Because remember, it started on the day. I'm trying to figure out how to do it so people don't freak out. And there doesn't seem to be a magic way to do it. But I put a number on day one, right? Well, you can't possibly hit day one because it started halfway through the day. So basically, it's a 24-hour clock. So you'll catch up. As you keep going on, you'll catch up. And unless you're like 3 days behind, you're probably fine. So
I actually, no offense, Pat, and with Pat's calendar and the previous bunny calendars, I used to actually have my own. I have my own that I use for acts that kind of has an exponential curve because things do get easier as you progress through each act.
And this is why we thought Safi does math for a living. That's too much
now
for
that
me.
we know he's a biological researcher, it's like I want to see what emojis you're using on your calendar. They're like little amoeba and like little things. It's like,
no, it's just a little table. It's just a little table graph. There's no actual calendar per se. Just a little table with 14 days and like the target and the percentage that I should be hitting each day.
Still too much math for me. Just too much math.
It's funny. Yeah, it's anyway.
All right, let's change gears. Let's talk real quick about Sarah Wiggum. She is coming to Springfield, as has been said. Well, first of all, you notice it in your character collection. We've kind of hinted about it. Pat actually outright said it yesterday in his post. Other sites have that up as well, and it's 300 pink sprinkles. 300 donuts for Sarah Wiggum. And honestly, are we surprised?
No.
I mean, we all said it.
No.
we all said it.
I'm just going to point it out once again, the whole NDA thing and posting things ahead of time, blah, blah, blah. This is hilarious. I just laugh when I see all this stuff at this point about the NDA. Anyway, no, I think that, 300 is going to be the standard price until we get into the stupid whale, and that's a multiple of 666, and that's a whole demonic thing, which could have something to do with Scientologists. So I'm so confused by how they're pricing, but I love it all. So, no, I'm not surprised.
Well, don't jump too far ahead, because people are not gonna know what the heck you're talking about. But
I'm sorry.
No, Sarah will be 300 donuts, and that's something, first of all, Guild deal. She will be a Guild deal. Guild has been $199 pretty consistently. So to jump from $199 to $300 is a big jump, but honestly, we've been asking for Sarah Wiggum for 5 years, so I'm not really surprised that she's going to cost 300 donuts. Do I think she's worth 300 donuts? No. Do I think anything's worth 300 donuts? No.
We'll find out.
But
how much was Murphy? Just does anyone remember?
How much? Bleeding Gums was. I feel like he was 175, 200. I don't think he was outrageous. I can look it up real quick too, though. I don't think he was absurd.
I think he was one of the most expensive ones we'd had up to that point. Yeah.
Yes.
Bleeding Gums defeated Sarah in the finals, if I'm not mistaken, of the first bracket battle a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Which this event, they seem to be bringing a lot of characters from the bracket battle. Brittany Brockman. Today I saw Allison Taylor was in the game. Yeah.
So what did I say? He was between 150 and 175?
175 on 200.
He was 165.
165. Okay.
Good call, Mom.
So my memory is not as bad as I think it is. Long-term memory. Short-term memory, I'm shot. Don't tell me something because
I'm getting to the age now where my memory isn't as good as I thought it was, but I can't remember. So it's all good.
But yeah, they are bringing a bunch of characters from the bracket battle in, which means that they are. I mean, we already knew that they read the site, they look at the site. We know that. We've said that for years. But at least they're listening in that regard. I don't why it took 5 years to get Sarah Wiggum into the damn game. I have no idea. But and 300 donuts is crazy. You know, I will say, and ahead of the shit I buy for that, I will end up buying her. Just because it's one character I've wanted forever, and I know a lot of you guys will end up buying her. But if you end up waiting, she may come back in a mystery box for 65 donuts. You have no way of knowing. She may, she may not, though.
I think they're raising the mystery box prices as well. I mean, it seems like anything that's a full-blown character set is now 100 donuts. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't begrudge them. I think we've had this discussion before. I think it's a reflection of donut farming, blah, blah, blah. But at this point, there's not that many great characters left. Why not make them pay a little bit? At least they didn't go to that level of forcing you to spend real money like they've done before. So I think that's a gimme. It's a compromise. And they gave us 60 donuts at least. I don't want to get into that mess.
We're getting there. Don't worry.
Oh, no. I don't want to go there. No, I don't know. I still don't understand it. But anyway, they did give us some free donuts up front. So it's kind of like no matter what you pay for Sarah, it's discounted by what they gave us. So
yeah. And there's a couple. I mean, they did offer discount donut deals, which we'll talk about in a second. We'll have a whole separate conversation about that. But yes, so there are other ways. Plus, there's donut farming is very popular right now, so I'm not surprised that we're seeing a price increase. Big inflation. But if 300 donuts becomes the norm now, we've got issues because that's high.
Well, you realize what it really is. It's the import tariff on pixels. So because this is animated in Korea, they're charging us a lot more for the pixels now. So.
Oh, that's what it is. I gotcha.
Sorry. I cracked myself up on that one. It's probably because I'm sitting in Alaska looking in Russia. So it's like, okay.
And I will say, because
it's really early here. And I was out really late.
Patrick is a trooper for waking up.
I'm sorry. We went to a speakeasy last night. Go ahead.
Speakeasy in Alaska. Interesting.
It was fascinating. I'll talk about that later. Go ahead.
I will say too, we're going to do things a little differently with Act 2 and Act 3 rundowns because the newest Addict is due any day. And we don't quite know when that's going to happen. When Act 2 hits, I'm going to put out every single thing that's supposed to hit during Act 2 in the rundown post as given to us by EA, and same with Act 3. So you guys will get a lot more information up front. Normally, I like to wait until it's actually live in the game so I can verify because they make changes all the time. There's a couple things I know that they're going to end up changing that they haven't changed yet because I don't think they realized it. But so I'll put out the information as as we have it, and then we'll see. You know, we'll kind of go from there. So it will be a little different the next 4 weeks. You know, you guys are gonna. These will be a little different than you're used to. But you know, we'll try to make sure you guys get covered. And Patrick will end up doing a lot of it. So heaven help the rants.
And now I'm actually going to go into like static mode, Zen mode. It's like, I'm just fixing mom's stuff. Don't change it. I'm just fixing mom's stuff. Don't change it. So.
Yes. And keep in mind, a lot of stuff was pre-written, so things may change.
No, I won't change it. I'm sorry.
All right. Does anyone else have anything to say about the event itself before we get into what we're going to talk about next? Sarah, premiums, prizes, anything?
No, I'm cruising. I'm fine.
Saf, you're good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm enjoying it so far. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now I want to talk about something that's really utterly and truly pissed me off. Like, EA has hit a nerve with me that they've never hit before, and it has utterly and truly pissed me off to a point where I refuse to spend money in this game. It has pissed me off so badly that you guys will actually probably pee your pants, because I'm about to say I actually donut farmed for over 1,000 donuts because I was so pissed off.
Oh God.
Me, somebody who,
Okay,
and I have
children,
nothing
be
against
very
donut
afraid.
farmers, but I just always said I won't do it. But
Be very afraid, children. It's the end of the world.
no,
Oh,
the day old donut discount deal. There's a lot I could put up with. I have no issue with me buying an item and EA lowering the price 6 months later, 4 months later, 2 months. I don't care. If I buy it, that's on me. I have a big issue with EA trying to put people in boxes and saying, these people don't spend money, so let's give them a better deal. And these people spend lots of money, so let's shit on them.
But have we figured out that that's really what it was? I've seen something that said something about how much you logged in or how much you played.
No, that's the 60 versus 300. And now, honestly, 60 versus 300 donuts doesn't bother me. You know, if you logged into your game regularly, EA gave you 60 donuts. That's great. If you haven't logged into your game in forever, EA gave you 300 donuts plus a free character.
See, and even that seems, pejorative to the wrong way.
Yes, it's ridiculous, but I get it. I kind of understand it. I have no issue. I mean, I have slight issue with that, but the discount donut deal, where they were giving people a boatload of donuts for $20, really and truly pissed me off to no end, because all I was offered was a truckload of donuts for 10.
Yeah, no, I didn't get any of that. So I understand why you're upset. I'm trying to talk you off the ledge. But,
listen, let me have my pregnancy rant at EA.
Okay, Mom. No, I think the deal is, this is again going back to one of those things where I don't think these guys have meetings. I don't think they think it through, because it's like, from a marketing standpoint, do they really think that offering 300 donuts to somebody who hasn't logged in is going to make them come and log in? Do you think people are going to go out like on the Twitter sphere and go, hey, Bob, you haven't been in for a while, but you're going to get 300 donuts now? It's like, come on. It's just stupid. All it did was make people upset. It was dumb.
But like I said, that didn't bother me as much as the discount donut deal, because you don't take your loyal fan base, your loyal players who spend money in the game, literally thousands of dollars in this game, and tell them, well, you're going to spend money anyway, so we're going to give you crap. We're going to treat you like crap. We're going to treat you like a second-class citizen, even though you're our primary source of income. So you know what I say to EA?
Whoa. What's about you? I don't know what that means in Italian. I don't want to know.
Well, it's equivalent to giving another gesture that I would probably get in way more trouble for.
I'm aware of it.
But
I never really understood it. Like, I'm taking your head off. I never really understood that one. Anyway.
But like, I refuse. Right now I refuse. And I needed donuts in my game, and I was waiting. I was like, I'll spend the money. I'll put donuts. And then that came out, and I was like, this. Initially, I thought everybody was offered the truckload for 10. And then I thought, well, maybe it's random. Maybe some people get 10 at this point, and then boatload later, and it'll flip and whatever it is. But the more I saw people say, I wasn't offered a boatload, I never spend money in this game, and they offered me a boatload for $20, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, how disgusting is that? Like, that's
well, no, then the insult to injury was when some people didn't get them quite right, and they went in and complained to EA, and EA gave them like double the donuts.
Yeah.
I mean, some people had like 6,400 donuts or something for $20. It's like, oh, okay, well that doesn't seem right.
Which is why it pissed me off to a point where I actually donut farmed, and I didn't Quickie Mart farm because I don't have patience for that. I just I spent $100 million in game cash and rat trap farmed and got over. I think I got like 1,500 donuts, and I was like, screw you.
Yeah. Good for you. I mean, the thing is what they've completely done is disrupted the economy of the entire game now. So now what they've done is proven what I've said before, which is winning a donut, getting a donut, whatever, is absolutely meaningless because it's now not even worth a fraction of a penny. If you get a donut, it doesn't even matter. They've set the precedent. But it's like buying anything else. You know,
but
the market has been blown up.
But how stupid are they to think that people wouldn't talk, or to just the response that they're giving to people when they say that, they go, "Oh, it's random." It's not random. It is. First of all, there's nothing random in this game. But second of all, it's not random because no one that spends a significant amount of money in this game was offered $20 for a boatload of donuts. No one, and that's absolutely absurd. That wasn't offered. It should be offered to everyone or no one. Like,
I mean, it's a business model that's absolutely can't work in any other business. Absolutely, positively. You could not go to all your loyal customers and say, "Hey, I'm happy to have you here buying the same shirts every week, whatever, but I'm going to give away 10,000 shirts to this guy that's never come in my store and doesn't even like the game anymore. In fact, he's proven he dislikes what we do so much he hasn't logged on in months. But I'm going to do this and this and this and this." It's like idiotic. It's absolutely idiotic. So I kept thinking it was a glitch. That's how appallingly stupid what they did was. I kept thinking, oh, it must be a glitch. They're going to fix it. This is stupid. We're going to get it too. And you're telling me no. And now I'm so upset. No, I'm not. I've been donut farming.
But how stupid do they think that people are, or how stupid are they to think that people aren't going to talk about it? They know that there's a forum for TSTO. It's their freaking forum. They know that. Yeah. They know that there are other sites out there that talk about the game. So why would they think that people wouldn't talk about it? Like, that's the stupidity of it. That's the idiocy behind the whole thing. It's like, you don't play this game.
How stupid it is. It's so stupid that Safi couldn't even make a chart about it that made sense, right? There's no way.
There are some comparables I could think of. So, for example, like the bank that I go to, they're offering free iPads to anyone that opens a new checking account. But I mean, I already have a checking account. Why can't I get an iPad? Or likewise with our cable company, they're offering free Netflix to anyone who registers for a cable package now. But as an existing cable package user, I don't get free Netflix. So there are models where I guess they do reward people who aren't part of that community or aren't part of that group. But yeah, it does suck.
Yeah, but to the same extent, though, if you complain to your cable company that they're offering lower prices to new customers, they will lower your price, because I've done that. And actually I need to do that because they just raised our cable bill. We need to call them this weekend. But they will lower your price because they're afraid that they're going to lose you. EA, on the other hand, seems to have their head so far up their butt with this that they're just taking people for granted. And you know what? The thousands of dollars I've spent in this game, I'm done. Like, I'm so this pissed me off to no end that I'm just like, I can't defend it. And I can defend everything. I can't defend that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really did mess it. Yeah.
I may have to fall off the call for a minute here because I just got a notice from my bank that said that I have to call their fraud department because I think I forgot to tell them I'm in Alaska. They think I'm a Russian.
I thought you were going to say because they want to give you a free iPad. So
it's EA on the line. They're going to give me 10,000 donuts if I stop talking now. I'll be right back. Let me call you right back. Bye.
All right, sounds great.
So I mean, it just the level of either offer the thing to everybody. Oh, Patrick's still on the line. Either offer the thing to everybody, or offer it to no one, or offer it to or switch it up if you want to do half and half. That's fine, but don't.
segregate by class, in a way.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like putting everybody into different into different categories and saying, well, these people, we're going to give them the best deal because they never spend any money in this game. But these people that spend all this money, we're going to, poo-poo them and say, screw you.
Exactly. People who've never purchased like a boatload and got the Shelbyville item, were they able to get the donuts for discount and get the Shelbyville item?
No, I don't think the Shelbyville item appeared with it. I think the discount donut sat over the Shelbyville. So if you got that, and then you would have to buy the Shelbyville item to get it would. Let me rephrase that. The discount donut sat over the Shelbyville thing. So if you bought the discount donut deal, when that was gone, then it was replaced by the Shelbyville one.
I gotta look. Yes, there's the poppin'. Okay, you can go.
And I'm back.
All
the
right.
Russians get you.
Yeah. My bank is very efficient. Bless their little hearts. But every time I travel, I forgot to tell them they like stop.
So yeah, but that's that and the premium offering this time around with when you spend cash actually physically spend cash, it's pretty crappy. I'm not gonna lie, and that, you guys will see my opinion about that when that actually hits the game. It'll hit when Act 2 hits.
Yeah, I saw it and I won't be buying it. It's like the good news is that you're doing that with some of the dumbest characters ever. They did that with one character I wanted. I think it was the robot dude. Yeah, there we go. That's the only one I've ever done that with. The rest of them, it's like, nah, thanks. No, not worth it.
So, I'll say EA gets credit for the event itself and for listening and putting characters in the game that we ask for, and finally eliminating crafting, at least for now, in the way that the traditional way, and bringing back items to the store, which is nice. You actually have a reason to spend cash, but they get a big old F for
client.
Really get a big old FU for what they did physically with the money. That really pissed me off.
These are guys that don't understand client relations at all. I don't understand how that pans. It's just weird. It was weird. So anyway, there we go.
All right, so let's jump into the poll question or the poll results real quick, and then I'll get to the comments because we got a bunch coming in. Apparently, people like when I yell. So the poll once again was, after almost one act, how would you rate the Springfield Zoo event? About 30.5% said awesome, love it. About 29% said, like every other event, I'm indifferent, nothing amazing, nothing awful. 23.5% said wasn't a fan at first, but it's growing on me. 16% said man, not impressed, and 1% said hate it. So overwhelmingly, more than 50%, almost 60% said, well, no, let me rephrase that. 50% basically like it or love it. About 30% of you were like, yeah, it is what it is. And then the rest were kind of a meh, or you hate it. So that's not terrible. Safi, where did you fall in that? Because you missed the poll when we missed our answer.
I like it.
You like it?
I like the event. Okay. Yeah, it's grown on me actually. I came in with low expectations, but so I think that makes a big difference too.
All right. Ebron says, I thought maybe the boatload was aimed at all people who left the game for the last couple months after the rollback glitch, trying to woo them back. No, because there are people who continuously play the game, never spend money, and got that offer. So I don't think it had anything to do with that. I think it was physically based on how much money you spent in this game. If you've never spent money, you got it. If you spent a little bit of money, you got it. But if you've ever spent any significant amount of money in this game, if you bought the last few character combos, that kind of thing, they didn't give it to you. So no matter how many times they tell you it's random, it's not. Fred says, wow, Alyssa, I love it when you get your dander up. Yeah, Fred. Piss me off. Charles says, on the donuts, I have 5 games. It was random. Some I got a boatload, some the lesser deals. Charles, I have 5 games too, and the only game I don't spend money in is the game that was offered the boatload. Everything else did not get a boatload. So, yeah, I think it depends on. I think it depends on how much you've spent, the last time you spent money. I don't think it was offered to anybody that has spent significant amount of money in the game. That's the random is as random. The thing about randomness is it's only as random as you make it. So.
They aren't random. They're algorithms. There's no such thing as random, Charles. Not in this game. There is no random, Charles.
Primal Homer says, thanks for the poll in conjunction with anecdotal info in the comments. In my opinion, it sends a decent view of what players think to EA. Ebron also adds, I kind of like being able to craft multiples of the enclosure. Each one has a pretty nice accessory / nature pieces that can be used after the event. The main pieces will get stored, but the extra pieces will get used all over my town. I agree with that. The emu experience has some really nice pieces to it, like the duck pond and things like that. You could use those other places.
Yeah, so is the cat country. I mean, I like the little extras better than I do the other stuff. Absolutely. Sorry to cut you off, Saf. Go ahead.
No, I was saying the exact same thing. I would get rid of the main pieces eventually, and the accessories can be implemented throughout the Springfield. A lot of variety and a lot of options.
Actually, one of the things I'm most excited about is that they're bringing back Old Faithless, and I missed it the first time out. So it's like, okay, good. A good decoration I really wanted. There you go. I'll make this work.
Charles says, on the calendar, you should start on the first full day.
Yeah, Charles, bite me. We've tried it every single way, and
we've gone off the rails.
Every single way I've done it, every single way I've tried it, somebody says, I'm behind. I don't understand it. So, Charles, here's the deal, Charles, is that because the day started halfway through for a lot of people, now that they're doing the 7 a.m. Pacific start time on these events, it's not a full day no matter how you look at it. In Australia, it's even worse. So I'm using a 24-hour clock, and I'm sure you can count to 24. So just go and force your brain to think about the next day. Okay?
Clearly,
like I said,
my rant has put Patrick in a mood.
No, it's not. It's just that Charles is a very nice man who comments a lot, who is very obsessed about little details that make him a little twitchy. But I will buy Charles a stapler, and I will try and help him next time to figure out how to make it work. So,
Charles, you need to make your own algorithm that goes this way.
Well, we can also, in addition to posting Pat's calendar, we can also post Safi's spreadsheets if people would like.
I want to see Safi's spreadsheets from now on, period. I'm not going to do calendars anymore. Those things take forever. Go ahead.
Charles says that he hasn't spent a dime and stopped throwing stones on any of the games. So, listen.
We're very aware that Charles is a massive donut farmer.
Well, no, but he's saying as far as the offers, he hasn't spent any money and wasn't offered.
Yeah, he got. He got truckloads in a couple of the games.
Yeah, well, listen. The amount of money I spent in this game awards me the ability to rant at that. See, Jaffe says, poor Ralph. If Mrs. Wiggum really ends up costing 300 donuts, he is going to remain motherless in this town anyway. Can't say I blame you there.
Who knows? Black Friday last year, they had the character box for 90 donuts, I believe.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so she might be back for Thanksgiving for Black Friday. Canadian Thanksgiving.
And Amy says, I'm really enjoying this event so far. I think it's one of the best events we've had this year. I'm thrilled that we got Allison Taylor. She's been one of those characters I've been wanting in the game for a long time. I'm also pretty happy we're going to get Brittany Brockman, or we are getting Brittany Brockman as well. I didn't think we were going to add her, at least not for a while, but I'm glad we've got her. As for Sarah Wiggum, I think it's about time they are giving us her. I will definitely be picking her up no matter what the donut price is. I also like that there's no crafting and that we're really not really grinding as much. Instead, we're upgrading buildings. And then she asks, when are we going to see the Addicts live blogiversary video? And then she wants to know when my due date is. So my due date.
A lot of questions.
2 questions. My due date is official due date is September 1st. The baby will be here before September 1st. So just a FYI. And then I will go back to hopefully normal, where pregnancy rants will end, and I will miss the ability to yell at people for no reason. Also, as I said to my husband, I will miss the ability to eat like crap. You know. Miss
Back
Pat
to baby
now?
Just crack it up.
Yeah, I miss my ability to yell at people for no reason.
Yeah.
And the blogiversary video will be up in September. We are taking September because of the baby. We are taking September completely off from live shows. We will have 2 pre-recorded shows for you guys. Both of those will be blogiversary. They're pretty funny, pretty entertaining. We recorded those back in July, believe it or not. That was that long ago. But those will be up in September. You'll see one beginning of September and one a little bit later into September. And then New Addicts Live, actually live, will be in October, where we'll talk about Halloween, provided we get Halloween this year. Provided EA is not so mad that I yelled at them that they decide not to give us any more updates.
Halloween's canceled.
Provided that I haven't bankrupt EA because I refuse to spend money in this game.
There you go.
Which ultimately will end up changing, I know. But right now, I'm so ticked off that, like I said, I actually donut farmed.
Hey, I did my part. If you remember, I offered 2 different ways that players could buy and support EA, and I offered 2 different methods, and I got shot down completely. So EA, still didn't reward me for being a nice guy.
I have long been a proponent of people spending money in this game if it brings you joy and entertainment, even if it's 99 cents a year. I've done my part. You should see my credit card bills. I've done my part. Mm-hmm. I actually have $500 in iTunes gift cards sitting right up there that I was going to put into this game that I am not going to put into this game right now. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's going dark. The money's already spent. You just haven't given it to them yet.
Well, they're iTunes gift cards. Trust me, I can always sell them. I have no issue with that. Bought them at Costco. They were $80. So I'll make $20. I'll sell them and I'll make $100. How's that? But yeah, I mean that really irritates me. You either offer it to everybody or you offer it to no one. That's the way I view it.
This goes clear back to the wheel from hell, the well, as we used to call it. The thing is that to the point that I'm going to make one more time, there's nothing random in this game. Nothing. It's all pre-programmed. Even the so-called random stuff, it's all programmed. There's an algorithm that works, an algorithm that flips, and anybody that thinks this is random is missing the concept of computer programming. So they have a randomizer, but it's not random. It's an algorithm. So this thing was absolutely calculated. Some pinhead in some office said, hey, I got a good idea. Maybe it was after the 15th pass of the fireball. I don't know. This is probably the dumbest thing they've ever done, ever, in regards to rewarding or upsetting loyal players. This is it.
Like I said, I can defend a lot of things. I can defend, and I did, that Sarah Wiggum is 300 donuts. I can defend that you should spend money in this game. I can defend buying those character packs with the donuts. I get it. I can defend that. I can't defend this. I really can't.
I hope Charlie lost his job over this one. That's what I'm saying.
This really, this was wrong. I'm sorry, but this was wrong. You offer the same packages to everyone like you've always done. And by separating it and knowing that people talk, the worst part is knowing that people talk to each other. That's the funny thing. It's like, that there's all these avenues for people to communicate with each other about this game, and you still do it. And then you try to say that it's random.
Let's just talk about really upsetting somebody who runs a blog that has, 100 million unique visitors and in 110 countries. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Let's do that. Charlie, you're out of here.
All right. So on that note, if anyone has anything else they'd like to add, I think unless anyone has anything else they'd like to add, I think we'll wrap up. I need a drink, but I can't have one. So. You want to talk about the speakeasy? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is cool. This is totally cool. It's a total random joke. So my kids are up here as well. A couple of three of my five are up here, and we were able to be forced to go out last night. And Allie kept saying, "No, we have to go. We're not going to tell you where we're taking you." Well, so we go to this bar, and she goes, "Go to that phone booth over there." And there, you go way down this hallway, and you go into this phone booth. You pick it up, and you say, "How many are in your party?" You say whatever. And then they tell you something to do. Well, in my case, it was tell a line from Airplane. So it's like, I don't know what the heck's going on. So we go up this hallway, all the way through this weird maze of stuff. There's this big door with a slat window in it. And you knock on the door. They didn't come. You knock on the door. All of a sudden, the thing slams open. And they go, "Yeah." And I said, have you ever seen the movie Spartacus? And the door swung open. It was great. It was like this little teeny bar inside some hidden part of this building. So, and they had drinks with absinthe in them. So I may not be here. I may have actually died last night. I could be imagining this whole thing. We'll see. Anyway, it was great. It was a great experience.
If you start seeing a unicorn throwing up rainbows, then we know we have a problem.
There we go. There we go.
And for Safi, Fred wants to know if you ever get pissed off at something, or will you ever get pissed off at something?
Will I ever get pissed off at something?
He came close one time. What was it? What was it, Safi?
I can't remember a time Safi ever came close to being pissed off.
No, there was something that he was actually gave a thumbs down on. I can't remember what it was.
Well, a thumbs down is different than being pissed off.
I don't think you understand. He's biologically impossible for him to do this motion. So for him to actually get to that close, it was something amazing. No,
no, I can't do it.
No, I like having Safi here. It's good to have a happy voice. So it's all good.
Yeah, he and Joe are usually the two happier ones. I'm generally pretty even keeled, I will say, but this combined with being 9 months pregnant set me off. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm even keeled too. Mm-hmm. Anyway, all right. No, I'm good.
All right. So, unless anyone has anything else they'd like to add, like I said earlier, this will be our last live show until October. We will have 2 shows in September, but they'll be our Q&A pre-recorded show. But they're fun. I promise. They're worth listening to. I broke them up so that they're we talked for a long time. I broke them up so that they're fun to listen to. They're not like listening to 6 hours of us talk. So
yeah, it was a long session. I had to like order in food halfway through. My blood sugar was going down. So
we learned a lot of new things too.
Yes,
like what Safi does for a living, because none of us knew that.
And I came dressed with no occasion.
Yes, Safi was dressed to the nines.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll be back live in October for Halloween. We may have a special guest with us in October. We'll keep you guys posted as far as that's concerned. And that special guest isn't just the baby. We'll probably have the baby on it then too. So yeah. All right, guys. Other than that, enjoy the rest of Mo's arc. Enjoy the rest of your August. Enjoy your early September. We will see you guys in October on the next live show, but be sure to tune in September for the 2 Blogiversary specials. And that's it. Anyone else say goodbye? Anything else to add?
Goodbye. Nothing else to add.
All right. We'll see you guys in October. Bye-bye.